Welcome back to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where everyday people share the quotes that shaped how they see life, helping you discover wisdom that might just transform your own daily experience. Today's guest is Zoa Conner, a physicist who noticed something heartbreaking, brilliant women feeling terrible for no clear reason. Now she's dedicated her life to helping high-achieving women reclaim their vitality through what she calls precision wellness, blending scientific analysis with deeply personal self-care. Let's step into Zoa's world and hear the quote that guides her transformative work. Tell us your name and what you do, Zoa.
My name is Zoa Conner. I am a PhD physicist turned into a functional wellness practitioner and wellness retreat leader. So I have a brick and mortar functional wellness studio, and I see people online, and then I take them to beautiful places while we fix their lifestyle so they feel better.
Oh, okay. Thank you for accepting my invitation to be a guest on the podcast.
I'm happy to be here. There are a lot of quotes that I like, but the favorite kind of depends on my mood at the time. Sometimes it's something scientific, Einstein or Richard Feynman. Sometimes it's something from a yoga practitioner, a yoga guru. Sometimes it's from a musician.
In the context of this conversation, what I'm looking for is a quote that you find yourself going back to in terms of life lessons and, just life choices and all that.
Okay, so something that's a little more consistent.
Yeah, I could remind you what you feel in the form, something on the lines of focus on self-care.
So that would be a quote from me, right?
Okay, yeah.
Where when you focus on self-care for yourself, then everything else falls into place.
Yeah.
Everything else is easy in life.
Okay, yeah. Why can you share with us a story or experience that made these quotes really meaningful to you?
Well, one of my wonderful things I got to do as a functional wellness practitioner was help my daughter heal from chronic mold. And so as part of that multi-year process, which I have now gone through with other clients, when we focus on every decision and every action starting with self-care, then we know that the healing process happens better and everything about life is less stressful. So that entails your meals, your sleep environment. Should I go to this concert? Should I meet with my friend? Should I take a nap? Should I take a walk? All of these things are part of that process where when you focus on what do I need in order to feel healthy and happy right now, then whatever I do in the next 5 minutes or the next hour or the next month or week becomes easier and possible.
Do you have a daily practice or ritual that helps you apply or live by these quotes?
I have a variety of things that I do consistently, perhaps not all of them every day, but that's because every day is different. So I really like how I feel and how I interact with other humans when I make sure that I get to teach or practice yoga every day. And for me, teaching is a practice. It doesn't have to be me moving my body, but that's what keeps me smiling and being kind and thinking about other people and interacting with the world around me. I make sure that I eat and drink certain types of foods because that's what gives me energy and helps me sleep well. I make sure that I am drinking and having minerals in my water and getting a walk. I know that if I don't take a walk after dinner, I'm not going to sleep as well. So even if my walk is just around the house, like inside in a circle in my room, that it doesn't have to be outside in nature, but being outside in nature is also one of those practices that I try to do every day, whether it's going outside and picking berries from my fruit trees, or whether it's just sitting and looking slightly past my computer to a faraway, vista, even if it's just the road, it's something farthest away. And I know that helps keep me calm. I prioritize sleep. So even if I am busy and have a lot of things I feel like I haven't accomplished, once the clock reaches a certain time, it all goes away because sleep is a priority. And as much as I can, which is pretty much every day of the week, I make sure that I am waking up naturally rather than to an alarm. And so my studio opens at 8 o'clock. It's not like I can wake up at just any old time, but that's why the going to sleep pattern has to
Early,
be maintained so that I can wake up that's not to a big loud buzz.
early to bed, early to rise. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
just more like you want to wake up with energy and with, good cognition and with a smile, and you want to wake up at the right time in your sleep cycles. So when you have to wake up to an alarm that jogs you out of that period, then you're not going to wake up with grace.
Yeah. Has there been a time where it felt difficult, or to focus on self-care?
Absolutely. Anytime that you have someone in your family or your friend network who is in poor health, in need of care and nurturing, and their priorities are taking precedence over yours, it becomes hard to take care of yourself. But that's actually the situation where I learned that I needed to prioritize myself because otherwise I couldn't be a good caregiver. I was a better caregiver when I ate well and slept well and got some movement, right? Otherwise, you end up feeling exhausted and drained and resentful.
Yeah. Yeah. There is no energy for you to like take care of others because you yourself, you need taking care of.
Right. And you might still do the taking care of that other person, but it ends up being suboptimal for both of you, right? You're both end up getting kind of the short end of the stick. If you chose to give yourself some of the self-care that you need, then you and that person that you're taking care of can both benefit. So it's worth the time and the effort.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join. Or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation. Yeah. If my listeners wanted to start applying this lesson to their own lives today, what's one small actionable step they could take?
Go to sleep earlier, right? Especially if you have a job and a family, especially if the kids are little or you're caregiving for an elder, there's always more things to do in a day than is time to do them. Those things will still be waiting tomorrow, right? And so if you prioritize your sleep, you'll get more done tomorrow, right? And perhaps there's a few things on that list that are not actually more important than your own health.
Yeah.
You can clean the floors less often, right? There are certain things that you can either get help with or delegate or simply accept that it's not going to happen as often or as well because there's other things that are more important, and your health and your sanity and your family are more important.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People over things.
People over things. I feel like we should add that to the list of quotes. People over things.
Yes,
Yeah.
perhaps, or maybe make a bumper sticker or a
Yeah.
beautiful piece of artwork for your wall to remind you. Right? People over things.
Yeah. Well, what are some of the possible misconceptions people would have about this quote? Focus on the self-care and every other thing would fall in place.
They tend to think that they either shouldn't have to, that it should be easier, or sometimes they think it's going to be an expensive proposition, right? They have to buy certain foods or go to certain exercise classes or take certain supplements. But really, a lot of the self-care just has to do with listening to your body and going with the rhythms of the day, the rhythms of nature. In the wintertime, you need more sleep, right? The sun goes down early and so should you, right? You need warming foods because it's cold outside. So don't try to force yourself to have the salad in the wintertime when it's cold, right? It may be healthy, but it might not be the right time. It might be not right for you. if you're not digesting that salad well, it's not healthy, right? Maybe you would do better with, some roasted vegetables. Maybe you would do better with some yogurt, right? So we get stuck in ideas of what is right and wrong, what is healthy and not. We tend to not want to allow evolution and changes to our self care. But indeed, we change all the time. We change every hour, every day. Women change every week, every month. We change throughout our life. And so your optimal diet and exercise and patterns, those are going to need to change too. So it's not bad. It's normal. It's good. It's helpful.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Zoe.
You're welcome.
How has this quote changed over time? Have you had to adapt this quote over time, um, as you've grown?
Oh, absolutely. If
Okay.
I looked at myself now when I was 20, I don't think I would know I was me, right? Because I'm a totally different person. I have evolved and changed and learned and grown and philosophically approach life differently, have different priorities. So clearly my guiding principles, right? They change, right? When I was 20, I was in college. I was all focused on physics and other people, not so important. Learning, very important, right? And now I blend them better. I love to learn, but I
I,
also value the people.
I want us to look at the quotes. I feel like where the quote is right now isn't where it was always. Like it's evolved. I feel like it has from where you were young and to the essence where you're like, okay, yeah, I don't know, I'm just assuming, and you let me know if I'm right or wrong. There was a time where like, oh, self-care is important. And then eventually a time like, oh, focus on self-care. Every other thing falls in place, which we are now in. But has the code evolved, or is it just a code you just like, oh yeah, this is it? Or has it always been one of those things like you've always had in mind, and this is how it has always been?
I would say that when I was um, a young person, like not even a full adult, self-care wasn't even on my radar. There would have been no quote, right? It's just not something that you think about unless there's a reason, right? So if
Mm,
you have an illness, if you have an injury, those are reasons for a child to have to think about self-care. Otherwise, you eat, you drink, you play, you go to school, you learn, you do stuff, it just kind of life happens. And you tend to have more resilience and less need to focus on self care. And your parents or your family is providing that self care environment, right? When you're 8,
yeah.
you don't go to the grocery store and have to pick your own food, typically,
Yeah.
right? And so self care becomes something that becomes an active part of you as you become an independent adult. And for some people, that's age 13, right? For other people, they're barely there at age 30. So it just kind of depends. But I would say that no, I started off having no self-care quotes. They would all have been intellectual, physics oriented, right? And then that would have evolved to care of children, right? When I became a mother, anything that was about the kids, that was the focus. I was kind of like secondary, right? And people might have told me about self-care being important, but it didn't make any sense to me at the time, right?
Yeah.
And now it makes a lot more sense to me. And I'm probably going to be one of those people telling my children to take care of themselves and to, prioritize their self-care over career and family and all those things. And they're going to ignore me just like I probably ignored my mother, right? But
Yeah.
you still share what you know and what you've learned and acquired to try to help ease the path of the people around you.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing with us the timeline of the beliefs, the in terms of self care, of course, in this context, not just generally. I thank you so much for just walking us through. Oh, there was a time self care was not even something I thought about. What exactly is that? And now, like, yeah, my whole focus is on self care because
Right.
when you take care of yourself, then you'll be able to chase the dreams, the goals, and all those things that you want to chase.
Right. If we think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs on a
Yeah,
philosophical sense, right? Everyone always wants to get up to the top of the pyramid, the self-actualization, the being all you can be kind of approach. But you can't get there if you haven't taken care of your basic needs first,
yeah,
clean air, clean water, clean food, sleep, safety, movement, nervous system, all of these things. This is self-care. If these things can't happen, you can't get up the pyramid towards self-love and um, taking care of other people and creativity and discovery of new things and self-actualization. It just doesn't happen. You can't get there. You're stuck on the
yeah,
bottom, right?
yeah, yeah. You have to first deal with the base of the triangle pyramid
Yeah.
before you then move on to the next, and then to the next, and then to the next. Oh,
Right, because otherwise, all of your energy is spent figuring out what you're going to eat, where you're going to sleep. Are you in danger? Is this plant going to attack you? Is this animal going to attack you?
yeah,
Can you walk home from work? All these things. There's no space for discovery and questions and where's my place in the universe and how can I improve the world around me,
yeah,
right? You have to deal with the self-care first.
yeah, yeah. So true. Oh, currently, is there another mantra or idea you're currently exploring or trying to live by?
Part of my healing process that my daughter and I went through gave us a greater understanding of the value of travel for self-care. We tend to
Okay.
think of self-care as, food and exercise and sleep and a bunch of things we're not supposed to do. This long list of things, don't have coffee, don't do this, don't, right? That's not what self-care is about, right? Self-care is about giving yourself what you need in order to be happy and do better in the world. So whatever is missing from your home environment, you can get by adding travel to your lifestyle. So let me give you an example. When my daughter was healing from mold, we frequently, every weekend, would go to the mountains and go up on the mountains where we could see far away and breathe the clean air and hang out under the trees. And yes, we might do a little bit of hiking, but it was pretty small scale when you don't have a lot of energy. You're putting
Yeah,
all your energy into healing. And so, but just that excursion, that going to a place gave us what was missing, a sense of safety and awe to the world around you, and the feeling that the earth was there to support you. This was awesome, right? And so that's why I started with retreats as part of your wellness tool, right? So when you need a reset to your lifestyle and you need to be able to know, like, what should I be doing for self-care? Like, I'm not feeling very good. I'm not
yeah,
sleeping well. I'm itchy. I don't digest well. I'm grumpy, all these things. We look for what's missing. And sometimes what's missing is you need to see green spaces. You need time under the trees. You need time with water, So maybe you're living in a city and you need to escape the city to provide what's missing, right?
yeah,
You need to be able to look far away in order to de-stress, right? And that's a brain thing. If everything that you see all day long is up close, screens, phones, people, small rooms, little cubicles, it's a stressful place for your eyesight and your brain. You need to look far away, right? So if you can't get that long line of sight, you've got to go someplace where you can, right?
yeah,
And that will automatically calm you. It's not about getting off the computer. It's really about how your vision supports your brain health and your stress response. So travel is an awesome thing to add in to your lifestyle in terms of self-care. And it can be big and beautiful. And maybe you go to another country for, a period of time, but it could also just be taking an afternoon and going and sitting under your favorite tree, right?
yeah,
Or going and splashing your feet into the local little river or pond,
yeah,
right? That still counts as travel. You've left your normal environment, right? You've given yourself a new space and a new connection to nature, and you've given yourself what's missing. I think of travel as a supplement to your home life. Just like a supplement for nutrition gives you what's missing from your diet, travel gives you what's missing from your home.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're
So
welcome.
I'll be sure to do a lot of adventurous traveling. And so sooner or later, I'll call
Yeah.
myself a traveler because now I'm exploring new terrains, even though they're all in my city.
Well, so exploring doesn't have to mean going far away,
Yeah.
right?
I
It
just got
just
that
means
from what you
looking at
said so far.
something from a new point of view, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, because sometimes when people
maybe
yes
you're
travel,
always walking around, but maybe then you go up in a building and you get a new
yeah,
view, right?
yeah. Because
Or
when we hear
maybe you
travel, like,
only ever go here to there, but now you go this direction, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, it's a good thing you recommend. You showed us how to see travel because a lot of persons, the moment you just said, "Oh, I'm traveling," like, nah, that's expensive. That's not for me. I mean, I could apply all those other ones, but now that you say, okay, no, it doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes it could be trying to see, um, view the sun from different windows in your house. That could be a way to see different terrains and see different things. Yeah, thank you
Well, you
so
know, and
much.
another interesting way to bring travel in is just with your mind and through some beautiful photography books of places you would like to go in person,
Yeah.
because it's kind of like a meditative practice, right? If you've got some beautiful pictures from a wonderful photographer that you can look at, then you can like put yourself there in your mind, use the visuals of the pictures, and it's almost like you're anticipating actually going. The anticipation of a travel experience is a really important part of that mental and emotional change, right? Once you sign up for a trip or register for a retreat or block out a time on your calendar to go to the lake, right? Then you've got the anticipation of being able to go, and that starts the travel process. The travel process doesn't start with getting in your car or getting on the bus, right?
Yeah.
It starts with the intention to go,
Yeah. Oh, wow.
right?
Wow.
And that's why I became a travel coach, so that I could help people understand how to use travel, not just where to go cheap, right? Or where to go that everyone else they know goes, but how to pick the right places to support your self-care.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So it's been an absolute delight chatting with you. Thank you so much for all the amazing perspectives you just shared with me on travel, on self-care, and yeah, and your stories too.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always fun to talk about these things.
In one sentence, what do you want my listeners to remember most from our conversation today?
Self-care shouldn't be hard. It should just be a thoughtful process.
That's two sentences. Okay, I will
Yep.
stick with self-care shouldn't be hard. Is that two sentences? What? Or one? I
It is.
asked.
It's a whole sentence.
Okay.
It shouldn't be
Okay,
hard.
self-care shouldn't be hard. It
Thoughtful.
should just be thoughtful.
It should just
Oh,
be
thank you so
thoughtful.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Zoa. Where can my listeners learn more about you and what you do?
My retreats, which are both groups and private on demand retreats, is intentional-vitality.com. And my functional wellness work for all the other aspects of self care that are not travel is zenandvitality.com.
Zen.
Zen and vitality.com.
Okay. No hyphen, no dash.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I'll be sure to put the links in the description and the show notes. Thank you so much, Zoa.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who loved the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatablewisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.